if Hitler just wanted to make Germany great and have things run well, okay, fine. The problem is that he had dreams outside of Germany.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Marcus here, back at it again with another video. Today we're gonna talk about Candace Owens and some comments she recently made about the man himself, Hitler. So first things first, Candace Owens is a self-proclaimed free thinker, and I just think it's a really funny thing because there's a difference between a free thinker and a someone who bucks the trend, right? She's not a free thinker because all of her views, all of her policy positions, they line up 100% with the Republican Party, with the right, with Donald Trump. There's no real difference there. I made a video about this a couple months ago when she was on the Joe Rogan podcast. You should check it out. It's in the description below. She basically tells Joe Rogan that she doesn't believe in global warming. And Joe Rogan asks her why, and she cannot give a real answer. She just regurgitates what the right-wing talking points are. So she's the opposite of a free thinker. A real free thinker would disagree with the Republicans, with Trump, with the right on at least one or two issues. There would have to be something out there, whether it's Israel, whether it's guns, whether it's abortion. But no, she believes every single thing that she's supposed to believe. So she's not a trendsetter. She's someone who bucks the trend. And that's just because she's black. And of course, Turning Point USA, Candace Owens herself, they make this fact known every single time. They are playing identity politics. And she's simply bucking the trend because very few black Americans vote for the Republican Party. And when black Americans do vote, the vast majority, in the 90% range, vote for the Democrats. So she proclaims that this makes her a free thinker, but it simply makes her someone who bucks the trend. She's nothing more than a propagandist for the right, and the right loves her because most black people know that they're full of shit, know that their policies will harm them and their communities. But you get someone like Candace Owens, she can probably convince a small number, which she has, to join the right. But in the video we're about to watch, she doesn't just talk about conservatism, she goes somewhere much worse. It's not only her comments about Hitler, it's the comments at the end that I want you guys to pay attention to, where she talks about birth rates, and she pretty much pushes the white genocide bullshit.
Yeah, I agree. I actually don't have any problems at all with the word nationalism. I think that it gets the definition gets poisoned by elitists that actually want globalism. Globalism is what I don't want. So when you think about, whenever we say nationalism, the first thing people think about, at least in America, is Hitler. He was a National Socialist, but if Hitler just wanted to make Germany great and have things run well, okay, fine. The problem is that he had dreams outside of Germany. He wanted to globalize. He wanted everybody to be German, everybody to be speaking German, everybody to look a different way. That's not, to me, that's not nationalism. In thinking about how it could go bad down the line, I don't really have an issue with nationalism. I really don't. I think that it's okay. It's important to retain your country's identity and to make sure that what's happening here, which I think is incredibly worrisome in terms of the decrease in the birth rate that we're seeing in the UK, is what you kind of want to avoid. So I don't have anything I have no problems with nationalism. It's globalism that I try to avoid.
I feel like I just lost brain cells watching that, guys. She really thinks Hitler wasn't a nationalist because he invaded other countries. So before I get into the ending part, I just want to talk a little bit about her saying Hitler was not a nationalist, he was a globalist. The reason Hitler invaded Russia, the reason he invaded Ukraine and Poland, was to gain Lebensraum. And this is translated as living space. He wanted the German race and the German people to have living space, and this sort of manifest destiny, a little similar to that lay in the east. Those goals were to take, Ukraine has very fertile farmland, so does Poland, so does Western Russia. That was what he wanted to take to create living space for the race of Germans, for the German race. He didn't want to turn Poles and Russians into German speakers. He wanted to eliminate them. He wanted to eliminate Ukrainians, eliminate Jews, eliminate Gypsies, eliminate Russians and Poles, and create living space for the Germans, the national identity. It's funny because in the first part, she says Hitler wasn't a nationalist, he was a globalist. Um, but then the second part, she literally makes the argument that Hitler and these fascists make, which is the nation has one singular cultural identity. She doesn't say it, but the nation has one single racial identity. A true American nationalist believes America is a white country, and they are white nationalists. A true Polish nationalist believes that Poland should be 100% Polish. This means that Polish Jews, this means that Polish Gypsies, Polish Roma people, they are not included in this cultural identity. They are not included in this homogenous country, in this nation. So we as nationalists have to root them out. That's exactly what Germany did. And they weren't globalist by invading other countries. The nationalism is what brought Hitler and the Nazis to want to eliminate these other people around them and create living space for the superior nation, the superior national identity, the superior German race. She literally has no idea what she's talking about. I don't know how anyone can take her seriously. Now the second part is where she pretty much makes the same argument, that birth rates are declining in the UK, and that because of this, immigrants, non-British people, and again, that's already not a homogenous cultural identity, that is not a homogenous ethnic identity, that this so-called pretend national identity is being tainted by immigrants. It's truly crazy. I mean, that's the great replacement propaganda. It's the white genocide propaganda. So you lose brain cells when you listen to this girl, because she acts as though the UK has one singular cultural identity. I mean, come on, go to Scotland, go to Wales, go to Southern England, go to Northern England. I mean, these four alone, and there are many, many more, but they are completely different. So she's pushing the false narrative that Hitler and the Nazis and all fascists are left-wing because they were socialists and they're globalists, just like George Soros. But at the same time, she's making the same arguments they do, that the nation is a racial construct, an ethnic construct, and that any threat to that, those people must be taken out. And of course, there are different levels of this: deported, not let in. In the Nazis' case, it was put them in camps. And in conclusion, nationalism is a bad thing. I have no problem with patriotism. I have no problem with the love of your country. I have a lot of problems with the United States. I have a lot of problems with foreign policy, with what we do internally, but I love this country. I mean, that's why I have this YouTube channel. That's why I am into politics, because I want to improve it. But I don't put the United States above others. That's nationalism. I don't think we're better than others. I don't think we're inherently better. I think the world is better off when you think of as one, and you think of the human race as one, rather than each nation being separate. And nationalism is inherently racist, because, and people are going to make fun of me for that, and make fun of you for that if you say it, but you have to say it. A true German nationalist is not okay with Jews or Poles or any sort of other ethnicity in their country, because they have this false idea that there exists a purebred German. I mean, this is the same in the case in Poland. Right now, with the right-wing government, you have people who actually think there's such a thing as someone who's pure Polish. It's funny because Poles are Slavic, so they share pretty much the same ethnicity as Ukrainians, as Russians, as Belarusians, as Slovakians, as Czech people from the Czech Republic. So this idea that there's a pure ethnicity, and I mean, look at the English. They come from Germany. They're Anglo-Saxons. So nations are these arbitrary lines that we have put up, and we pretend that they're somehow ethnic lines as well, and somehow racial lines as well. Alright guys, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next one.